my name is Grace Brown, and I'm here to describe to you guys, we'll give you a detailed description of the basics of a sew-in. As you can see, my presentation is called The Beehive Under the Hair You See, and by the end of this presentation, you will know why. First, a couple disclaimers. No, they do not sew the hair into your scalp. I don't know how many times that has been asked to me, as ridiculous as it is and sounds, that is a frequently asked question. Another thing is, no, we are not all bald-headed. Everyone that gets weave does not have really short hair. Actually, a lot of people have a really good grade of hair. They just want either extensions or just don't like dealing with their hair. So what is a sew-in? A sew-in is basically an extension method that is started by braiding cornrows or just braids into a person's hair and using wefts, or I'm going to call them tracks because that's what you normally hear them called, to sew into their hair, so it'll either give them a natural look of weave or longer extensions. So I'm going to start talking about the types of sew-ins that there are. A full head sew-in is where the client's full head is braided, or you leave a little out on top so that it'll give it a more natural look. You can't really see it, but her hair is left out on top, and as you can see, you would think it was her real hair, like all of it, but it's not. Kelly Rowland in this picture, a lot of people think she has, that's all her hair, but it is not her hair. This lady, she has a full sew-in with all of her hair braided, and she has something called an invisible part, which I'll get to later. But all her hair is braided, and she has this part right here, which makes it look more natural, because you would naturally part your hair. So you can these are just a couple more pictures of full head sew-in. She has hair out on the top, and as you can see, it gives it a more natural look. She can put it in a ponytail. She does not have any hair out, and you see this is called a closure piece up here, where it closes the sew-in out, so it'll look more natural. There is a net weave. A net weave is basically the same thing as a sew-in, except you put a net over the braids, so that it'll give it, you won't have as much stress on your hair. Net weaves are good for people who have thinning hair, are balding, or their hair is easily broken, or they have breakage issues. This is a partial sew-in, which I'll get to the next slide, but only the hair in the middle of the head is sewn, or is braided. This is a full head where only the hair at the top is not braided and everything else is braided in. And you can see that you have something else to sew the hair into, so your hair isn't broken as easily. An invisible part. Okay, the invisible part allows you, you freedom so your natural hair doesn't get so broken because you try to blend it with the weave so much that you put so much heat on your hair and blow dry it and straighten it all the time, and that really damages your hair. So the invisible part gives you a more natural look with the weave. Now, can you tell me, if you can see it, which two of these pictures are not the way to go for an invisible part? Yes, clearly these two look ridiculous. Look at her forehead. I mean, come on now. And this one, her part is just way too far apart, and on top of that, her hair is red. Come on. But so they just look ridiculous. Keke Palmer in the middle, she has this more natural look. It's a smaller part because your part won't be this big in your real hair. So. A partial sew-in is a sew-in where the braids are placed horizontal. They don't really have to be horizontal, but it's easier to do it that way. And only the hair in your middle, as I said before, is braided. And so all of these girls have partial sew-ins, and as you can see, you would never be able to tell that they have weave in their hair because it looks so much more natural. And all your hair, the hair on all parts of your head is out except the middle. Now, weave can do some amazing things. This lady, if you can really see her hair up here, looks ridiculously horrible. And so she had her hair sewn in, and then they styled the weave, and she looks so much better in the bottom pictures than the top. This is a man. You can click 2 more times. And he is getting a weave put in because he's balding, as you can see right there, and you will never be able to tell. Never. And so the process for getting a weave is you wash and condition the hair, preferably deep condition, so it'll be healthier when you take it out. You clip the ends, it's recommended, but it's not really mandatory. And then the stylist braids the client's hair Oh, sorry. Okay, and you put a net on it. It's optional, and then you sew in the braids. And